So today what I'm going to talk about is social media best practices to boost your bottom line. And that really means how to approach your social media such that it attracts new leads using some best practices and strategies. Because my goal is really that we position you as a highly sought after expert. And I'd love for those of you on the line to put in the chat box, what is your line of business? What is your expertise and or product or service? Because I promise to share with you powerful ways and a system that ensures you get the visibility you need and you want using social media. Make it well worth your time. And while you're getting ready to put in the chat box what's going on for you, like what is your business? So we've got a mediation specialist here. Why would you even want to listen to me? I know, Kevin, you said that, I'm a social media expert. And even more than a social media expert, I'm a marketer first. And that's why I think, Kevin, you and I resonate so well together, because it's really powerful when you combine marketing with social media, and that social media is kind of the icing on the marketing cake. So I've been in marketing over 22 years, and last year I was recognized by Small Business Trends as the 2013 top 100 champion influencers amongst the influencers, and I got that Small Business Influencer Champion Award, which was very exciting. And in 2011, I started something called the Social Buzz Club for business owners and people who were putting themselves out online to have people share about each other. It's a cross-promotion kind of network where we celebrate each other's great content online to each other's followers. It's really powerful. But really, I specialize in the small business owner. So that's my passion. That's why I wanted to know what business you're in. Ray's saying he's in holistic healthcare, and we've got mediation. So, keep feeling free to put your business line of business here into the chat box, which, by the way, is on the lower left-hand side of your screen. There's a tab that says chat. So, for example, one of the small business owners I've worked with, Coach Karen, she's a teen and young adult life coach. When we were working together, she really had a goal to increase her audience, and she increased her followers and likes on Facebook by 41%, her LinkedIn connections by 68%, and her Twitter followers 500%. But more importantly, because just having followers is not as important as creating new markets, which she did, new clients, as well as, it's meditation, not mediation. Thanks, Michael. And she also created strategic partners. So I've done that too, Michael, by the way, with that word. So easy to type it. So whether you're in mediation or meditation or you're in coaching, holistic health, you're a small business. And what I love about people like you is that you have a passion. You have a mission to help people and change the world. So I want to help you. And also, because I'm all about giving some great value, I want everybody to walk away with a free gift. For those of you who stay to the end today, we're going to be giving away a very special, totally free gift to everyone here today, and I'll give you more details on that at the end. But in the meantime, let's get on the same page about what is this social media, genre platform. I break it down into two words, social and media. And the definition of social to me is it's all about building relationships. And media, remember that word, media, you've heard it before. You may not think of it this way, but it is this. It's a public publishing platform. So you put it all together and you've got a public publishing platform for building relationships online. So remember that. It's public and it's publishing. That's great for business, right? So, but I had a colleague and a client say to me, oh, you can't hear anything? If you can hear me, type in the chat box. You can hear me. But one of my clients said to me, why would I want to follow anyone else online? Like, why would I want to follow anyone? Thank you, Kevin. Okay, great. Glad you can hear me. So you may be thinking this, why would I want to follow anybody on social media? What is the point about that? Well, really, it is the key. And the key, and Kevin, I know you'll agree with this, is it lies in that first rule of networking. And for those of you who don't know the first rule of networking, the first rule of networking is to give first. Give always. Give value. Okay? So you want to offer, so following somebody is like putting out your hand to shake their hand. That's the first thing you give somebody in a networking relationship is your hand to shake them. You want to give, the next thing you can give is an acknowledgement or a compliment to people, and you can do that best if you're following them. So hopefully you're beginning to get a whole new paradigm or get more grounded in the paradigm of building relationships using social media and kind of connecting it to a networking meeting. I'm sure 99 to 100% of you have been to a networking meeting or a conference or a trade show or a continuing education program. All opportunities for networking, all places where you want to reach out that hand and network and connect with people, start building those relationships. So when you go to social media, what if you are the person that makes people, you're like the host, you make people feel welcome. You offer your hand. So you're building a relationship and you need to get, just like any networking meeting, you want to get to know people and they'll want to get to know you. And that's that old Zig Ziglar phrase, people don't care how much you know until what? They know how much you care. So social media is a great place to connect with people and let people know you care. It's also about reciprocity. So let's talk about more ways to give on social media. Well, we talked about following people. So follow them on Facebook, follow them on Twitter, friend them on Facebook. There's slight differences. Connect with them on LinkedIn, like their fan pages, comment. Okay, here's where we get a little deeper into the relationship. So you've extended that hand out by following them, liking them. The next thing is to comment. That's actually engaging with them. Comment on a post. Tell them congratulations. Thank them for something they shared. It doesn't have to be that deep, right? When you start a relationship, you don't go a deep dive usually at the very beginning. That's kind of like weird when people do that. So keep it light, but keep it positive. You can favorite a tweet. You can favorite, or like a comment, a comment, a post. So it's starting to engage. Then the next level would be to share something of theirs to your followers, your friends, your fans. Retweet, repin on Pinterest, for example. So now we're really engaging and starting relationships. So at this point, then I want you to know the best practices so you can answer these questions and so you can boost your bottom line. So a lot of people have these questions. This is what we're going to answer today. Who should I accept friend requests from? Anybody ever have that question? How do I keep my Facebook personal profile separate from my business? How can I get more engagement on Facebook? Should I buy likes or followers? And how can I get more leads from social media? If you have any of these questions, if you love an answer to any of these questions, type the number of question or just say yes, in the chat box, because I want to know whether you're like I'm on the right track. If you have a completely different question, you are welcome to ask that in the chat box as well. So, these, right, exactly. So these are a lot of the common questions. We're going to just get them handled today. So I have a personally professional philosophy, and it starts like this. If you're on social media for business, guess what? You're on social media for business. It's great. So great. And Joseph saying, I want all those questions answered. And Gary has 2 and 5. Let's go back to, yep, how do you keep it separate? How do you get more leads? Yeah, those are the big ones. Those are the big ones, Gray. And so when this slide actually addresses keeping your personal and business separate. Because I just said, if you're on social media for business, you're on social media for business. It's like saying that when you say I want to keep my personal separate from my business, it's like saying when you walk into a networking meeting, you want to keep your network, it's separate. You do. You automatically do. You're only going to share in that networking meeting with the people you meet the stuff you want to share. And it might mean, hey, if you went water skiing last weekend, you might be talking to one of the people at the networking event about water skiing. So it doesn't mean you don't talk about personal stuff, but you keep it personally professional. You keep it, in other words, you keep your private stuff off of social media. If you really want to share pictures about your kids to family members, you can create a list very easily, and we're talking Facebook here. And usually that question pertains to Facebook. It doesn't really pertain to any other network. So you can create a list and only share to that list. Because each post you can determine whether you keep it public or you share it to a particular list. And by the way, what your niece and nephew share on Facebook, even though you see it in your news feed, other people won't. The people you're friends with don't. Unless you comment on it or like it or share it, then other people will see it. So you can see what they're posting, don't comment on it, and other people won't see it as well. So I hope that clears up the question. We'll get a little bit more deeply into it. And Wayne, you said you're not on Facebook, but you can see the opportunities. Great. And we're not going to just talk about Facebook. I'm really talking about all of social media. And one of the things you're going to want to determine is where to be, and we'll talk about that. So let's get right into these 10 best practices. So you want to strategically connect with your market. So you see in the bottom here, I have about 10 different places. Most of these are social networks. And let's just go through them relatively quickly for you here. You want to go where your market is. So Wayne, it might not make sense to network on Facebook depending on what your business is and if your clients are there. So if you let me know what your business is, we can definitely talk more about that. But if your market's on Facebook, then you definitely want to be there. And Facebook is often good for consumer products and services, as well as self-help, personal development, wellness areas, because it is so social. Relationship help, advice, self-growth, business development, anything along those lines is usually really good for Facebook. And Twitter, again, you want to research. Is your clientele there? But Twitter is great for market research. Twitter is like the new CNN. It's instant news about any industry or current events. It's a great way to get visibility with media as well. So if you want media attention, you definitely want to be on Twitter. If you don't care about that and your market's not really there, you can skip Twitter. Pinterest is great for women. If your market is women, and also if you have a how-to kind of business, if you're into do-it-yourself projects, or you teach do-it-yourself projects, or you have a before and after, are you into, is your business into fashion or food, or like I said, crafts, do-it-yourself, health and wellness, before and after again, recipes, that kind of thing. Pinterest is excellent for. By the way, Pinterest is one of the most awesome networks for driving traffic to your website. So if you have a great website, Pinterest is great. And a lot of people think, okay, Pinterest, it's visual. Well, I don't make gourmet food, and I don't take pictures of gourmet food, so, or have fashion or interior, or have a product to sell. I'm a consultant, so I don't really have anything to put out on Pinterest. Well, anytime you have a quote that you love by somebody else or your own, guess what? You can create an image with that quote on it. You've now made your business visual. So don't necessarily shy away from that, especially, again, if your market is women with discretionary income. Okay. Now, LinkedIn is a great place to network business to business. And if you sell to other businesses or other service providers, then LinkedIn is a great, great place. Also, you may not need to engage on LinkedIn, but if your website is not coming up when someone searches for your name and you have a LinkedIn profile that's optimized, it will come up in the first, somebody Googles your name, your LinkedIn profile will come up. And guess what? If you optimize your LinkedIn profile, it will easily take people back to your website. So you may want a LinkedIn profile even if you're not going to engage there. You just optimize it. So we had a question. Is Pinterest good for meditation if you're a man? If you're a man. Well, are you marketing to men? Or if you're a man but you're marketing to women and men, then I would say yes, because one of the things you can put into Pinterest is YouTube videos. And so you can put some sample meditations into a video format. That's where YouTube comes in. If you want to be found online, YouTube and Google Plus are musts. So, and getting into video doesn't have to be that scary. Right now, today, as I'm speaking to you at doing this presentation of a PowerPoint presentation to you, I'm creating basically a video. Notice I'm not on camera, though I'm not opposed to being on camera, but you don't have to be to create a good video, just like I'm suggesting Michael do with his meditations. So the next one is this orange button here, and in case you don't know, that is the RSS feed, and every blog has an RSS feed. And don't ask me to get into what that means because it's not important. Just know that that orange button stands for having a blog on your website. Notice I said on your website. That's my ideal preferred, and it's a great way. You always want to have a website, and the blog allows you to offer content, dynamic content, so new articles on a periodic basis, whether it's a few times a week, once a week, twice a month, once a month, whatever it is. You want to be generating content. If you're going to be on social media, it's a great tool to let people know that you're an expert. Again, we want to position you as an expert in your field. Instagram is the next one right here in the brown. That's mostly for young adults from in their early 20s to about mid-30s to 40s. Although we are seeing some more demographics getting involved with that. But if you have a younger demographic, a younger adult demographic, then I would say Instagram is great. And there's lots of strategies. If your demographic isn't there, I wouldn't start with Instagram. Tumblr is a great blogging kind of microblog. It's similar to Twitter, but it gives you a lot more freedom, and there's a lot of, again, what's popular going on is on Tumblr. It's a really great place. And if you're a local business, by the way, Yelp is a must. Yelp and other local directories. So, I go into a much more extensive process of how to decide where to be in my courses, like the Social Media Blast-Off course. And this is just a good overview for what we have time for today. But you want to know where your market is and strategically connect with them. That's the point of this best practice. And then about that question, who should you accept requests from? To friend or to, even on LinkedIn, accepting friend requests. Both Twitter and Google Plus, people follow you, so you don't accept friends, they just follow you, okay? It's all public once they follow you. And you say yes on like LinkedIn to Facebook to people who fit your ideal client profile. If you don't have an ideal client profile, you haven't narrowed it down, it's a good time to do that. That's the very first thing I go through with my clients in the Social Media Blast Off course. I give them a little outline and I go through how do you actually define your client. And I actually like to call it your ideal profit prospect profile. Because if you're someone who says, well, my ideal client is everyone, I'm sure you could relate to this, Kevin, is that then you have just become a needle in a haystack. And just to cure you of that syndrome, haystack syndrome, needle in haystack syndrome, I want to let you know that you can take on clients, any client you want. But your marketing efforts should be geared to a specific niche of client. Okay? Where you're going to put your time and your marketing dollars is going to be for your richest niche, the profit profile, profit prospect profile. You also want to say yes to requests from colleagues, competitors, people you work for, and influencers of your profit market. So people who work with it. So if you're a holistic professional, we have someone here who does that. You probably have the same market as the meditation expert here. You guys should definitely accept requests from each other because you have the same market. And that means you'll, especially on LinkedIn, so if I connect with you, your connections become second level to me. So when someone searches for me, you may even come up. So you're going to get me more visible. There's no downside to accepting those connections from people who are in your market or market to your audience. Okay? Hopefully that's like a new piece of a revelation if you haven't already thought of that. So the second practice is have consistent professional branding. Ensure your website and your blog and your social media look like they tie together. At least have your logo consistent, and please have a professional photo taken. And a little hint on that is, you know, a lot of people are like, oh gosh, I don't know where to find a good photographer, or it costs a lot of money. It doesn't have to, especially with the advent of Groupon. In your local market, there's probably a photographer who's doing a Groupon. You can get a really good deal on. If you know of a good photographer in a networking group, you might want to go with them as well. So remember to keep your branding consistent. Use visuals. So on Facebook in particular, and you notice, okay, not just Facebook, okay, because I know sometimes it sounds like I'm only talking about Facebook. I'm really not, okay? But have you noticed, and it's ever since Pinterest came on the scene and shot up like wildfire, that Facebook put in these large cover photos. They expanded the photo sizes on the news feed, even the advertising photo sizes. Then LinkedIn put in banners and enlarged the profile photos, and now you can have company pages with these banners and cover photos. And of course, Instagram is huge because that's all photo sharing, even Google+. So all of the social networks are visually oriented now. And it's no wonder because, for example, here you see the statistic that photos get 93% of the engagement. The next highest is a status update with no link or no video or no photo. So you either put photos in or you put in just a regular status update without images. So images are key, and I want to give you a little bit of a clue on how you can easily put together some images. And we have a question, or we have a comment. I work in pest control at this time. There are many sites now offering free advice but linked to other services and products. So is there a question you have about that? Please let me know. I think you're on to something there. Thanks, Wayne. So when you want to put, like I said, for Pinterest, should you be on Pinterest? Yeah. You can create these graphics easily. All of these graphics I made with a site called canva.com. C-A-N-V-A, like canvas without the S, canva.com. And you can see, have everything from quotes to promotional information. You'll notice something very common on every single one of these images. In small letters is my link to my website. So always when you create a graphic, put a website on it, because if somebody takes that image and repurposes it, even if they don't give you credit for it, your site is on there. The left is like an infographic. This is a recipe. And by the way, remember I said keep it personally professional? Well, I like to cook. So notice I put this on my social media fan page for my social media consulting. And you think, why would you put a curry chicken salad recipe on your fan page? Well, I'm demonstrating, first of all, this tool, number one. Number two, notice the note at the bottom of the image. It says, we do social, but we like to eat well too. I'm tying it in. I'm making it personally professional. I'm letting people know, there's more of a dimension to what we're about here and giving them good examples. So, so there are many sites now offering free advice, but a link to other services and products. Wayne is talking about joint ventures. I love joint ventures, and I think yes. My answer is yes to joint ventures. You can find a lot of them and do them, and it gives you more opportunities to build relationships with more of a larger audience, and that's what Kevin and I are doing today. We're joint venturing. So you can put in your own pictures, or you can just put in words and use elements from canva.com. So then you can do things like Dr. Roberta Shaler, who is the relationship health doctor, and when I told her she should be using Pinterest and she'll get more traffic, she did. Remember I told you Pinterest gives you more traffic than any other network? She got more traffic to her website from Pinterest than Facebook and Twitter combined over 2 years. So I highly recommend checking it out, especially if your market is women, all right, and or you want more traffic. It's not exclusive to women, but it's pretty important, a pretty excellent site for driving traffic. So here's my fourth best practice, and maybe it should be number one. Always be adding value. It's in alignment with that first rule of networking: give first. Now, Business Insider is a blog online, and they asked Guy Kawasaki, how can small businesses grow their social media presence, right? Here it is, guys. Guy Kawasaki, the guy who wrote What the Plus, author, publisher, entrepreneur, as well as Enchantment, which I love that book. The art of it's just a beautiful, beautiful book. I don't even know what the subtitle is, but if I could read it, I would tell you. But he said the best practice is to curate valuable content, which means content that inspires, amuses, informs, or assists people. So when you're thinking about what to share online, I would make it one of these: inspirational, amusing, informative, or giving assistance to people. Does it have to be your own content? No, it doesn't. In fact, I co-founded a company called the Social Buzz Club. And the whole purpose was for curating other people's content that would be valuable to your audience. You become a hero to them by sharing other people's content that you value. You become seen as a resource. You get positioned as an expert because you're sharing expert information, even if it's not yours. But you do want to share some of your own. But I would say about 70% of the content I share online is other people's content. 80% of the pins on Pinterest are repins. So hopefully that makes you feel a little better about and less overwhelmed about social media. Because you don't have to create all that much content. And I love what Jay Baer, he wrote this book, Utility, and I love his subtitle too, Why Smart Marketing is About Help, Not Hype. Content is fire, okay? But social media is the gasoline that ignites that fire. So ask yourself this, is your marketing so useful that people would pay for it? Like Wayne, you were saying, that free advice people would otherwise have paid for. But if you're in pest control and you have an added value of helping people understand their pest issues and best ways to control it naturally versus, with toxic chemicals, and when you should use what and how to use it, and even if it's a little do-it-yourselfy, you think it might be taking away clients, but however, if you're the ones providing the service, you don't want to do it yourselfer. You want the person who reads that and say, oh, I don't want to do it. I want to get an expert to do it for me. And this person must be an expert because they're teaching it. So it's really important to have useful content. Now, another way to look at useful content is, okay, not that you have to do this, but, Clorox put out an app, an iPhone, Android app called the Stain app or something like that. So they have recipes to clean stains off of clothes. Not all of them involve Clorox, by the way. Champion Sportswear has an app that teaches people how to tie knots. So if you're out camping or on your boat and you need to know how to tie a knot, you can go to the knot app. They don't even sell rope. They're so useful, though. You keep top of mind and you have that positive reputation by giving that value. You want to engage. Don't simply broadcast the content, however. Offer thoughtful responses. Ask questions so people answer them and you can engage with them. Share content that inspires action. Like, I don't know about you, but how do you feel about this? Could be something. Think about how you are in the real world and how you engage people in the real world. Do that online. I help you think about that. There's a little bit of a paradigm shift. I did that with Shelley. Shelley McCorder is a homeopath, and she was doing some webinars. And one Facebook strategy I taught her, she was able to triple her registration and instantly got $2,600 in sales just from this one strategy, in like a 2-day period of time. It was really nice for her. The fifth strategy here is integrating your social media. Okay, this is like the most important setup practice. So notice all the arrows lead home. All the streets lead to a point, okay? Where's that point? That's your website. You need to have a really strong website. I help people, when clients come to me and they say, oh, I need help with social media, I said, let me see your website. If they don't have a strong website, I said, let's get your website done. And we project manage that for them. And then we optimize their social media accounts. We optimize them to the point that it's doing what this diagram is showing, which is what? They're all integrated. You have your own little web of connections. Every single place you are online links back to your website, and your website links to your social networks. So people can find you easily. Are you findable? Okay. This is really important. This is what's going to get you money. It's called responding. So when people on LinkedIn ask for you to connect with them, or you ask for them to connect with you, send them a thank you note when they connect. You can do that through messaging through LinkedIn with anybody you're connected with. You can do that on Facebook. You can engage or respond to, you want to be checking those messages in Facebook. Even Twitter has direct messaging, and in LinkedIn as well. Because this is the way you're going to start building those relationships deeper. Not only that, when someone tags you in a Facebook post or in a tweet or mentions you in a tweet, or in Google Plus, for example, they can mention you, you want to respond to whatever they've tagged you in. You want to say thank you, you want to respond to their question, you want to continue the dialogue of whatever they're talking about. But this is a big mistake. People just think they can go and broadcast out and never have to engage. I got a speaking engagement last weekend because I checked my LinkedIn mailbox and somebody said, hey, would you like to come and speak to this organization? We need a speaker. I was like, absolutely. So once you're in the flow of responding, you also want to know that what people are responding to online. So in case you don't know how to respond, you want to do what I call listening, which is really reading and watching what people are responding to in your market. So do your research. Find groups where your market participates. There's groups on LinkedIn, there's groups on Facebook, and there's groups on Google+. But notice what content gets the most attention and what people are saying. And hopefully you're in groups not where your colleagues are, but where the clients are, the prospects are. So if you're in pest control, who has pests? Pests. Homeowners have pests. Are there groups for homeowners? If it's in a certain region, maybe there's a local, even if it's a homeowners association, or it could be a business group that's centrally located to you. The most important for you is location. Watch what your colleagues are doing as well. Notice what you like and what you don't like. Don't do what you don't like. And I'll tell you why. You must be authentic on social media. Otherwise, it's all be a house of cards. It will fall down. People will see right through it. So this is the time to really contemplate, who are you? What is your mission? What benefit do you want to give people? And then how are you going to bring that out in a way that's in alignment with you? And you can, and the more you listen and research, the more you'll know what resonates for you and resonates for your market. And somewhere overlapping, there's an intersection that you'll find your sweet spot for communicating on social media. You can use search, and Google Alerts is a great little system that you put in some keywords and you tell it to send you the new stuff that shows up on the internet that has to do with those keywords. So it's a great way to find content to curate as well as to see what's trending in your industry. Yeah. And another really important practice is to put relationships first. These are the relationships that you want to build. These are the people you work with, you play with, you collaborate with, you donate to. You will get what you give. So give your best, and they will be there for you. They will come out of the woodwork to support you. Build your tribe, okay? One relationship at a time. And at some point, you're going to want to take your online relationships offline. Dare I say it? That I did. Social media, again, is not the cake. It is the icing on the cake. It is not the end-all, be-all place that you're just going to get sales driven to your front door. People are not going to start calling and ringing off the hook just because you put up a Facebook page. In fact, they absolutely won't be. But as you build those relationships, because you're there, because you're offering that content, you'll start to get paid like you want to for that advice, that free advice it will pay off. And as long as I can help those of you who believe in putting relationships first, who believe your business is built on relationships. If you don't, you want to use mass media, that's fine. Have a bigger budget and work with somebody who specializes in mass media, whether that's advertising, radio, TV, even social media. But social media is tricky because you do have to build that relationship. Remember that first word, social. So even when you're clicking on a link, the most clicked links are the ones that give some amusing, informative, inspirational information away for free or for the cost of an email address. So you can continue that relationship. For example, one of my clients, we set up a Facebook page for him. He's a travel agent. Using relationship-based strategies and in conjunction with his Facebook page, he got 3 new clients in 1 week. One was a group cruise, and he earned thousands of dollars because of it. Now, if you really want to do it right and automate it as much as possible, you need to have what I call your savvy marketing flow. And it does involve your website. It does involve a email marketing system, meaning like a Constant Contact, MailChimp, Infusionsoft, One Shopping Cart, GetResponse. If any of those are sounding familiar, great. If they're not, don't worry. This is something to work up to. But you can see a little flow going here, and I'll just explain this to you. On the left is your blog or your website where you're offering content. And in your blog posts, on your website, you need to have a free, irresistible gift offer. That's where they will, as you see this arrow pointing down, opt into your email series. You'll send them your irresistible gift and then maybe even a small offer after they opt in for $7. They can get a video series or they can get a bigger program that's worth 10 times $7 or 20 times maybe even. And you can either have this or skip it, but they do find if you have something where someone pays about $7, you've gotten them into the habit, so to speak, of buying from you, building their trust. Then you offer them a free valuable webinar, which invites them to a personal call. And the reason the arrows are pointing back and forth between these bubbles is because you're going to be inviting them not only through the process of going through your website, but what if they jump off your website? You'll send them an email that says, thanks for buying our $7 program. We'd like to offer you a free valuable webinar. And it's complimentary, And then at the end of the webinar, you invite them to a call, a consultation with you, which is basically your opportunity to sell them something. Give them value and sell them something. Because you've given them value all along the way. Every step of the way here is valuable for them. It's worth a lot of money, and at this point they've only spent $7. So by this time they may be feeling like, oh my gosh, I've gotten so much value. Of course I'm going to take you up on this next offer, for the service. Then you might invite them to either an online training or a premium service. Okay, and that very last bubble is really, that could be labeled premium service or product. So it takes a little bit of thinking through the strategy that one would use to before you start really marketing on social media, building those relationships. You want to have your flow set up. The next practice is know your strategy, okay? Craft your profit system that encompasses all of what we talked about so far today. So let's kind of put it all together in a nice bundle here. First is to strategize, okay? That means you have to know your purpose on social media. Know the products, the flow, that conversion. We call that a conversion plan, taking them from prospect and converting them into paying client. You want to know where to be, the placement, selecting the right networks, planning and planning those engagement strategies, and then pull in the peeps, build your tribe. It's nice to engage with people, but we want to make sure you're growing that audience of yours. Okay? So you want to put the plan in place, then you want to start with optimizing, having that professional setup we talked about, your power profiles, like on LinkedIn and Google+, and even on your Facebook page and your profile. Remember how we linked everything back to your website? We want to make sure they're optimized that way. We want to make sure they're using keywords, okay? And we want to make sure you're proficient at using each of these networks and integrate your network so they talk to each other as well. Because like on Google Plus or YouTube, you can link to many, many places, including your LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter, because you've got to meet people where they're comfortable at. If they're comfortable on Twitter, you know, in your markets there, you want to be on Twitter, and you want to tell people that you're there too. Especially if they'll go there if they're comfortable there, and then they can feel good about you being there because that's where they like to be. You want to know the tools. I've mentioned the Social Buzz Club that will save time and filter noise out. I like also Hootsuite. It's Hootsuite. That's a great social media management tool. Once you have your strategy in place, once you know your plan, then you can use those tools to really optimize your content and even your engagement. The third step in the profit system is magnetizing. Building a tribe of raving fans by engaging them, we talked about. This is where you're actually going to implement your strategy here. You've optimized, now you can magnetize through implementation. You also want to make sure you're attracting the attention of other influencers because you get to be seen as someone who should be known. And that positions you as an expert. And you want to make sure you're Google friendly and show up in those searches. Then you can start growing the leads, especially if you have that funnel in place. You can start implementing the content that drives people through your flow, your savvy marketing flow, or some people call it a funnel. Then once you're doing all that right and you're doing it consistently, the systems to serve clients is in place. You are then monetizing your presence online. So when you craft your profit system, as I've just explained in those 4 blocks, from strategize, optimize, magnetize, and monetize, you will explode your visibility and credibility and multiply the traffic to your website. And hopefully, if we've done this all well, your website does a really good job of walking people through the flow. You're getting public endorsements by key industry leaders who also have a strong following, and therefore you're being positioned and becoming known as the go-to expert in your field. You're receiving many opportunities to either speak or render your services, sell your products. It's a very exciting time when you have it all put together. And it takes a little bit of effort, but it can be so rewarding. So where do you start? Well, I recommend if you don't know how to do the things I shared, or you don't feel really proficient, or you've never put together that plan, you want to get trained and you want to put together that plan. So I have a unique opportunity for you that I'll help you. It's a very powerful system that I promise to share with you. It's the Social Media Blast-Off system. As you can see, we cover a lot of things, and in Module 1, we talk about that brand and the purpose and where you should be, selecting the right networks. And then we'll take you through training. It's on-screen, self-paced training. Work at your own speed. And take the courses that really resonate, whether it's the Facebook or the LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, Google+, Pinterest. Even we've added an Instagram module. I even give you a template to put together your engagement matrix. So I want to show you, and what I do in this course is show you how to massively grow your network using simple steps and that marketing plan template that I give you in a step-by-step on-screen training. Give you action guides for each network. You'll know exactly how to optimize each network, and a strategy. You'll get a strategy. So by the end of the course, you'll have a full social media strategy. And what I love is shortcut techniques. So I've given you all of them throughout the training. And then one of my favorites, I don't know about you, but I like free. Anybody else like free? There are so many awesome free tools out there, kind of like what I showed you today with canva.com. So I have a list of, several free tools. I don't know if it's 100, but it's somewhere between 20 and 50, maybe 75 free tools that you'll be able to pick and choose from, the ones that make most sense for you. And I'll show you which ones do what, and based upon what you've set your goals, you'll know which ones to use. So that's 8 self-paced modules with follow-along videos, workbooks. There's a bunch of other bonuses in there, but the biggest bonus I want to tell you about today is I'm rebranding. This is the Social Media Blast-Off System of 2014. 2015, I'm rebranding. It's going to be called the Savvy Social Media Success System. So not only will you get access to the full replays of 2014, which is already available for you. You know the social networks change all the time. And because of that, I want you to attend or have access to 2015. So in case you're not quite ready, if you get it now, you'll get 2 for 1, basically. You get 2014 system and 2015 system. And you'll get the replay of 2015 as well. But the cool thing is you'll get to engage with me live if you want. And that's a very rare opportunity. So for those of you who want to engage and have kind of that one-on-one in the group setting, but you can ask your individual questions during our class time. So that'll be really amazing for you to have access to me. And normally this is a $16.97 course, but it is on sale right now for $6.97. But I promised Kevin I would give you guys a very special offer. And if you use the coupon code LAUNCH200, you can take another $200 off, which makes it only $4.97. I don't know any other system out there that teaches you 8 different social networks for under $500. And by the way, if you complete all the classes and homework and you don't feel you got the value, it's 100% guaranteed. So I take all the risk out of it. All you need to do is go to socialmediablastoff.com, scroll to the bottom, and use that coupon code LAUNCH200 to take the $200 off, and we'll give you your username and password for our training area, which has all of the network training, the modules, the workbooks, the videos, and a bunch of other resources and ways to monetize your social media, by the way. There's so much in there that I can't possibly, you can read a lot more about it on the website, socialmediablastoff.com. But make sure you take advantage of this, because this coupon code isn't going to last long. And I love to work with any of you who want the help and the support, and to really position you as the expert, and make it very simple for you to blast off on social media. Now, I promised a free gift for everyone, so thank you for staying on, and I'm happy to answer questions for a couple of minutes. We are at the end of the hour, but I have a free gift, which is my basic version of the social media engagement matrix. It's basically an engagement planner, so you can plan what to post and when to engage. And you can get that at bit.ly/engagematrix, bit.ly/engagematrix, as you see on the screen here. So it's been my pleasure to share with you the social media best practices. Please connect with me online. Take advantage of the Social Media Blast-Off course. If you have further questions, my email is laura@transformtoday.com. I'm happy to be of assistance to you. If you go to transformtoday.com as well, you can link with me on any of the social networks and read my blog. So thank you again for being here, and we will see you on the Blast-Off course, socialmediablastoff.com.